you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding, yeah. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother, she's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry. How can you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe you're just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother, she's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry. When doves cry, this is what it sounds like when doves cry. When doves cry. When doves cry. When doves cry, this is what it sounds like. Why do we scream at each other? Why do we scream at each other? Why do we scream at each other? Why do we scream? This is what it sounds like. Hey, when doves cry, when doves cry, when doves cry. This is what it sounds like. Why do we scream at each other? Why do we scream at each other? Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of Big Blend magazines. You can check that all out at bigblendmagazines.com. But most importantly, I mean, you know the song you just heard, Prince's hit, When Doves Cry, and it was reimagined for the song's 35th anniversary by former Temptations lead singer Louis-Price and gold record recipient, pianist, and producer Starr-Parodi, both just amazing talents, and we're so excited that they've recorded this. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, and so excited to have them both on the show here today. So I want to welcome Louis. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. That was wonderful, wasn't it, Starr?
That was great. Yes, thank you.
Well, good. I hope I always have a good introduction, and we'll have a good ending too. We always like a happy ending around here. But anyway,
there you go.
Everyone's going to be happy, But Starr, welcome, by the way, and tell us how you met Louis.
Oh my goodness, this goes back to when I was just starting out, and Louis had a band, and I played in it. And we have been fast friends for many, many years. We've collaborated on a lot of music together, and he and his wife are just, like family to my family. So it's been a long, wonderful relationship.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Louis, with When Doves Cry, I mean, it's just so powerful. And you both have like a really good, strong musical connection. It's amazing how the piano and the vocals just connect like that. What was it that led you to go, hey, let's cover this, When Doves Cry?
Well, Starr came up with this great idea.
It's her name, I'm telling you. It's her name.
I know, right?
I occasionally have an idea.
And
occasionally.
I thought it was great, and I said, well, let's go. And so we just started, putting it together, and she oh my God, she really just inspired me, and hopefully I inspired her a little to make this happen. But it was because of her initiating this wonderful idea.
I mean,
well, I was just going to say, to add to that, when I was playing it on the piano, had always heard Louis's voice in my head singing it, because I thought, he to me is just I don't know of any better vocalist. He's got everything. He's got emotion and power and skill and technique, and just
soul.
A world of experience behind him, and so much soul. And I just thought, that it would be amazing for him to sing this. And then we did it kind of spontaneously at a concert, and he just, he really just knocked it out of the park, and the audience just had such an enthusiastic reaction. And we both looked at each other like, we have to do this and put it out there.
Yeah, no,
they all stood up for some reason, Lisa.
Well, it's a good song, and you both know your stuff. I mean, it's such a heartfelt version of it. And I think we're all still really tender about, the passing of Prince. I mean, he really, his talent goes so far back, and I think,
oh my God,
we know his hits, but he did like a lot of jazz. He really, and I think he was still also one of the best guitar players in the world, and was underlooked on that too. I just think he was everything. And so to keep his music alive, and I mean, it'll always be alive, but to keep it out there and give fresh perspective, I think this song is also timely, because we need stuff to remind us about things, and let's be nice. Can't we be nice to each other?
Right, about things and people.
Yeah.
It's funny. I went to the movies. My wife, Faye Hauser, she's in the Directors Guild, right? And so every now and then we go and look at the screenings, Starr at the Directors Guild. And so last night we went, and I thought of Starr so strongly. It said in the dialogue on the movie, it said, "Why do we all scream at each other? Why are we screaming at each other?" And I said, "Wow." I'm not going to tell you the movie because should I say the movie, Starr?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Joker. It was kind of rough, but it was the Joker. and he was on this thing. It's kind of graphic, and he just said, "Why are we screaming? We all are screaming at each other." And I said, "Whoa, that's powerful, because that's why we kind of like loved and did this song, because it was expressing a lot of anger and emotion that was going on in the world today. And it was kind of like saying, yeah, why are we all screaming? How come we can't be hugging and caring and speaking, lowly and respectfully and to each other,
And the thought of
man.
doves crying is like this is a symbol of peace, and
Yeah.
world peace. And to think of a dove crying, you just kind of I want to cry when I think about it, because it's just wrong, and it's such a powerful title. But didn't you get to meet Prince once, Starr?
I did, back, several years ago, I was in the band, in the posse of the Arsenio-Hall-Show,
Yeah.
the original Arsenio-Hall-Show. And Prince was a guest several times, and I had a chance to meet him then, and man, it was just, he's such a genius. And like you were saying, and like Louis was saying, we kind of stripped out a lot of the other words and just tried to use the words that were a very universal message, and try to kind of take the personal, kind of relationship part out of it, and just use, because why do we scream at each other hit us both so hard, because that's what we all seem to be doing right now. We're so divided, and we felt like we wanted to put a message out there that uplifted peace and healing and love.
And it does, and Prince represents all of that so much. I remember, oh my gosh, I can't, brain freeze. Oh my gosh, the lead singer of the song Creep. Oh my gosh, I can't, he passed, he committed suicide. And Prince went and covered his song Creep at I think it was up in the desert, one of those festivals, I can't remember which one, and he went and covered it, but he wouldn't sing I'm a Creep, because he respected the musician so much. And I can't believe I can't remember his name, but
no, is that the Radiohead?
Yeah,
song
Radiohead
with Colin Greenwood, yeah.
And so when he passed,
oh no, Tom York.
No, yes, no, but when he passed, he wouldn't sing I'm a Creep. He wouldn't sing that about him. And I thought that was just amazing. That's just how Prince was, and just that caring, and to be, bring out this, hey, why are we screaming at each other? So I'm so glad it is out there. I do, Starr, being on the Arsenio-Hall-Show, I think he is one of the, the leaders of late night TV, and for musicians. Didn't he really open the doors for musicians that didn't always get on TV?
Actually, Radiohead did their first gig on that show,
Really?
Believe it or not. Speaking of Radiohead, and also Mariah Carey did her first television appearance, which was something I played for when she first started. I believe that Melissa Etheridge kind of got more well known on that show, if not her start. Ellen DeGeneres certainly got kind of a start. I don't know if it was the start, but there was a lot of people that were, we had, Sharon Olsen was the music booker at the time, and she was so forward thinking, and it got to the point where people would just get such a huge boost, and all the new artists wanted to be on the show, and it was, there's still so many remnants of that show now, including just the black shiny floor that all the shows seem to have now. I think that was the first that Arsenio did, and really interacting with a band in a very personal way also. There were so many things that he did. It was a great time, and he was a great communicator, and he really brought people together.
Yeah, that's what I saw. And hey, listen, that's how Clinton got elected. It was from playing saxophone there, right? You got to think back to those. Louis, did you ever go on the Arsenio-Hall-Show?
Yeah, funny. I went on the show because of Starr. Starr was able to perform her release at the time, wasn't it, Starr? Did you release it?
Yeah, it was my first record, and you were such a big part of it. And you know, put together that amazing choir and had just amazing vocals on it. Yeah.
What was the name of that song, Starr?
That was Kenya. It was called
That's
Kenya.
It was
right.
Kenya.
And-
Let's see that.
Yes.
I see.
It
We're
was
connected, man. Have you been to Kenya?
And
Oh,
I haven't.
I haven't either.
oh, you must
I
go.
haven't either.
No.
Oh,
Except maybe in another, you know, in a dream.
No,
in a dream or in another.
you should go. You should go. You should go. And your
As close
son,
as I got to,
you should go. Just go because you're both
the
of you.
closest
You're
I got to
musical
Kenya.
Yeah.
The closest I got to Kenya was Gladys. I think Gladys Knight's daughter name is Kenya, and I sang at her wedding.
I was going to say, or was it Zimbabwe when you went to Zimbabwe?
Right.
You were just there.
Right.
You were just there, you know. But your song Kenya does make. When I heard it the first time, I was like, that connected with me deeply, Starr. That, you know, especially having lived there.
Oh, you
grown
did
up.
hear Kenya? Oh,
Yes.
neat.
Oh wow, that's
Yep.
great.
No, beautiful music.
Wow.
I mean,
Great.
it's amazing what you've both done, your careers, Louis. All the, you know, all this part of the movie productions that you've done too is amazing. And you're saying that you see Superfly, cool. I want to be on Superfly.
Yes,
Just,
yes, that was amazing.
yeah.
It was a very, it was, you know, it was kind of interesting because I think Hans Zimmerman, I think he was in charge of the music, and they called me in and they asked me to come in and just do some souling, some souling, which was really, I was surprised. They said, well, okay, well, just put some soul on this. I said, oh, okay. Then they said, well, put some soul on this. I said, oh, okay. And they said, oh, yeah, that's it. So I was just thankful because it was a great experience. And it was a historical moment in a sense because that was the remake of Superfly. You know?
See, that's awesome. And now your work with the Temptations, the lead singer for 3 years.
Yeah.
One of my top favorite songs of the world, which kind of goes with what we're talking about today, is Ball of Confusion. I think that song, everyone needs. I think can't you both redo it or something? Come on.
I was thinking when you said it, I said, man, we got to do that now. That's what it is right now.
Yeah. It is Ball of Confusion. I mean, that is one of the most ultimate songs ever. It's like in your face. Look at this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, girl. Hey, don't say it too loud because somebody might do it before we get to it.
Get on it, get going. I love that. So now tell us about The Heart of Frida, because we're going to play that at the end of our chat here.
Okay. Well, you know, my dad, before I was born, lived in Mexico and had this other very kind of secret life that I never found out about until after he died. But it was such a huge part of him. He was an Italian immigrant. And anyway, he was a contemporary of Frida Kahlo. He was actually, you know, pretty old when I was born, and on his, you know, umpteenth marriage. And so I was doing some orchestral music for something in Los Angeles called the Laguna Pageant of the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a beautiful show at the Irvine Bowl. It happens every summer. I've been doing the music, a lot of the music with my partner and husband, Jeff Fair, for about, this is our 11th year. And the very first year, one of my assignments was to write music for Frida Kahlo, who, it was the theme of the show that year was called The Muse. And I was just so blown away by her story. And also because all the other muses kind of died in obscurity and you know, had these horrible endings where they really didn't have their voices heard. And yet Frida Kahlo, she really emerged, even with having a famous husband, you know, her painter husband, Diego Rivera, who was so famous at the time, and with women being, you know, kind of not really, there weren't very many women artists at that time. And she, through, you know, physical adversity and all kinds of social adversity, she got her voice heard, and she became this strong, powerful voice. And so I was very, very inspired by her, and then feeling a lot about my dad, missing him. He's passed away. and thinking about Mexico. And I just wanted to do a piano album that was kind of honoring her and inspired by her life, and also, my, I guess, history with my dad and him in Mexico. And so that's how that album came about.
To me, when Frida Kahlo, she's a strong toughie, man. She really was. And
Oh.
I have a good friend who has a very similar personality to hers. I can't even explain it. I'll get myself into trouble if I do. But she was going to do whatever she wanted. Let's put it that way, and very creative as well.
Yeah. No stopping.
No stopping,
her.
right, at all. And Frida Kahlo, when you talk about Diego Rivera, we talk about him all the time. In Tucson, where we're based, De Grazia Gallery in the Sun is a gallery, an Adobe gallery, and a mission, all built by the famous artist Ted De Grazia. And he's a famous Southwestern, excuse me. I'm all in Africa now, man. Let's go to Kenya. Southwestern artist. And he went and he trained under Diego in Mexico and Jose Orozco. And so when he passed away, it was crazy stuff, man. He burned his painting so that up in the Superstition Mountains, so that the inheritance tax wouldn't be put on top of his kids and his wife and family. And he got married in Mexico and everything a few times.
Wow.
But anyway, so he did murals with him, and there's photos. We've written about it. But they, when he died, they found all these silver, like chips and pieces of silver and gold, all packed in his empty Chivas Regal boxes under his bed and all over the place, because he lived on this property too. And later they found manuscripts of his music, because he was a trumpet player. And so they recreated an album, and his son is a flamenco guitarist, Domingo de Grazia. And so they got together with the Jazz Orchestra Tucson, and there it is. They have a whole new album out, and it's very Mexico in feeling. So he spent a lot of time with Orozco, and I think Orozco came up here and hung out with him too. So just a wild little connection. I had to bring that up, because if you ever get there to Tucson,
that's really cool.
Go to the gallery, you'll feel very connected to Frida Kahlo.
And it's called Ted De Grazia?
It's De Grazia Gallery in the Sun.
Okay.
I'll send you the link. Yeah, if you go to degrazia.org, you'll find it. It's just a magical place. And but anyway, there's just that kind of personal connection. Louis, I wanted to go back to you, because you being able to sing with the Temptations, sing in different groups and with other people, and yet you've got a really powerful yet soulful voice, and so you have that balance of not stepping over each other. And then some of the people you've sung with, like Mary J. Blige, I mean, she's a powerhouse too. How do you balance that out? Because I know you teach vocals, right? You also teach music to people. Do you teach that kind of balance where you can have that dynamic, to keep the dynamic there?
Well, it's consciousness and technique. I mean, you really have to make people aware. And so a lot of times the teaching is not only the technique, but just the communication that you establish with the individual, to let them know what the objectives are. And the objective is to be conscious of what's going on around you, to know what you're being called to do, and do it as best you can. So if they're calling you to background, and you to be the best backgrounder, and if they're calling you to lead, you be the best lead, and you keep those disciplines in the area where they belong, and respect them, and just do your best. I like the learning part of living, and with that consciousness, because then you can teach as you continue to live, because you observe and you see and feel things and be able to express it, and people kind of look at you, especially if you look a little older than them. Maybe they'll look at you and listen.
But what about, when you think about someone famous like, Carole King and Seal, and you've worked with them, do you also, I know you are a vocal consultant, but as a, someone who's professional and been doing it for years, these professional singers are still seeking out coaching, right? It doesn't end that way. You don't just,
Right.
I learned my scales and I'm done learning. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's really important because uh, um, a lot of people are, I don't know what you specifically call it, Star, but they just do what they do, but they are not creative in the process, in the sense of how imaginative you are, how creative.
Right. You may be
and,
technical. You have the technique,
right,
but you got to have
right,
the ideas and the connection,
right,
the emotional connection.
right,
Okay.
absolutely. And so I think that's why Foster called me, because he saw that I was like, this cat. I'm going. Whenever I do anything, I'm going to do it basically my way, even if it's somebody else's song. And I used to get in trouble when I first would sing. I would, because I'm a songwriter and I've always written songs. When I was a young kid, I was writing songs. And when I would go and do people's songs, they would say, well, can you do a demo for me? And when I was younger, I would do it. And I would go in and I'd do a demo, and they have their melody. And I say, no, that melody shouldn't go like that. And so I would sing it, stubbornly sing it, almost like they wanted, and then at the end I would change it. And it was just something that I always felt that I needed to do, and then I had to give in because we would be in the session for too long. And I said, okay, I'll do it the way you want to do it.
See, but that sounds like Prince. He always changed everyone's music. Every piece of music he heard from anybody was like, no, this is how you do it.
Yes,
right.
Yes, and that's just a great anticipation, great imagination, and then it's great strength and courage, because a lot of times, you so many aspects of singing and performing and living, and you really have to have courage to do most of them. Okay.
Yeah. Especially the arts, because you're wearing your heart on the sleeve, music, you're out there performing, and if you're giving it your all, your soul's involved. You can hear it in both of your singing, your playing, Starr.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
Starr, your fingers are like feathers on the keys. I mean, talk about dynamics. It's like, wow, look at that, So is Steinway your partner? Is that has that always been your go-to piano?
I have such a cool story about my piano. I got my piano, about maybe 20 years ago. I had an upright, and I was looking for a grand. I didn't yet have my parents. My parents have a baby grand that, I now have too. So I have a lot of pianos actually now, but I was looking for just a piano I would really connect with, and I really loved Steinway. I loved the sound of it. There's just a depth and a hair, which I think, I call it a hair, but it's kind of just the overtones that are just so rich. And anyway, I played new ones. I played older ones. I played refurbished ones. Just trying to find the one. And I was out in this journey kind of took me to different people's houses. It took me, where I would end up jamming with people, that I had no idea who they were. And also, to music stores to play new ones. But I ended up in this ranch in, I think, Riverside or something. And this guy had 9 pianos. He used to be at the Academy of Music in Philadelphia, and he was selling pianos in the area of Southern California. And I played this one piano, and as soon as I played it, I connected with it, and I knew I just, there's something inside me. It was like a physical feeling I could feel. And then I found out that it was on the MGM soundstage in the late 20s and 30s. It's a 1928 Steinway B, and was rumored that The Wizard of Oz was recorded on this piano.
No.
And so, I had it refurbished, or, not refurbished because the sound was great, but the action, the how you play the keys, how hard it is, or, it was all kind of feeling kind of not great. So I had, an amazing piano restorer work on it. And it's just been such a beautiful piano to record on. And it just gives me so many ideas to play on it. And it's a Steinway. And then several years ago, I was asked by Steinway, and it was a huge honor to be asked to be a Steinway artist, which, I just was just thrilled to say yes. And so I'm a Steinway artist, which just means I guess I'm part of the Steinway family, of artists that play their pianos.
Right on. Hey, now listen, do you wear ruby red slippers when you play?
It still
Click, click.
has the tag.
No
It still
way.
has the tag from MGM on it. And the funny thing is that as it still has, and I wouldn't let them take it off, it still has gum under it from when the studio guys in the late 20s and the 30s at MGM, they would just stick, how people in the old days, I guess they used to stick their gum under a table,
Just to do
people
that
would
in
stick their
school.
gum under the piano. And, so it's just, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, I have gum under my piano.
Plus, it serves two purposes. It keeps the piano together, as well as every now and then if we want to have something to chew on, we just grab it, boom, 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 and then put it back.
Real nice, real nice.
That's a good. Thanks for that thought, Louis.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking of that now.
But we used to do that.
Over, but ooh.
We used to do that as kids. We used to chew gum and then put it under a friend's seat, or like we would, I don't know, in school we used to use it for pranking,
Right.
Right. We're so nice. But but hey, do you name your piano? Did you give her a name?
No, it isn't her though.
Has to be a
but
lady.
No, it just feels kind of like a her. But no, the only thing I've ever named is an avocado tree, and that went really badly because it got eaten by a deer. So I don't name anything.
Okay, so what now, Louis? Do you name your microphones? I mean, it's like this is my mic, my headset.
Well,
that's changed too. Now you don't get people don't even use like regular stand-up microphones half the time now. That's so weird.
Well, that's a good question, and that's a good subject matter, because maybe at the sound of my voice, people will say, yes, we're the ones who are going to do that. I am looking for an endorsement so I can name my mic.
Oh, you go get them.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to call me and say, hey, Lou, we want you to endorse our mics, I would love to, because I just did something that was crazy. When you asked me that question, it just reminded me of Friday. I don't know if I told Starr, but Smokey Robinson was honored at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel for the Golden Heart Award, and they asked me to perform the music presentation, right?
Ooh.
And so I sang Smokey's songs, and I did them obviously my way, right? Correct. And so when I had a mic, when I was assigned a mic, the guy he asked me, he said, how do you spell your name? And I didn't even put this together until afterwards. I was kind of like under a whole lot of pressure, and we were already moving and trying to get this, and something had gone wrong, so we're trying to fix stuff. And the guy said, well, how do you spell your name? And I said, Louis. He said, okay. And then later on, after everything settled down, I said, why is this guy asking me how to spell my name? I said, he's the sound man. What is wrong with him asking me? And then I said, oh, he put my name on my mic. So I do have my name on my mic.
Now, was it encrusted with ruby diamonds or rubies or diamonds? You got to have it.
We've all got to have ruby.
Yeah, everything's ruby.
No, and I complained about that.
It's like, hey, I want my name.
Just to say, in speaking of mics, the mic that we recorded Louis with for When Doves Cry is a vintage C12 AKG C12 mic.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, oh my gosh, Louis brings that mic to life, and it's just it's a gorgeous vintage mic that just has such a richness and has all the highs, and it really captured his voice so beautifully, I thought.
I love.
So maybe
love
that's
version.
the endorsement.
I've played it. I've played it quite loud in my hotel room, just Sorry to the hotel owners
Oh,
and neighbors.
thank you.
Well, I think everyone should hear it. And so everyone needs to play it everywhere. It's available on all digital platforms, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Deezer, Google
Oh,
Play,
she's so
and
sweet.
Pandora now. Louis, what
Mm.
is up for you next? What's the next big thing?
Well, I have a big concert coming up. In fact, a few of them. I have one this weekend. It's a private one. I won't let everybody know where that is because I don't think that the people would like them showing up, right? But we have a show that we do every December, and my wife and I we put it on, we produce it and everything, and it's going down December the 13th at the Moss Theater. And if people want to know about it, and they could just, if it's all right for me to say my website.
Oh, please! I was going to promote it. Louis-Price.tv.
There
Right?
you go, Louis-Price.tv, LOUISPRICE.tv, and if they sign up, subscribe, then we'll just give them as much information as they want to,
Cool.
without what do you call it, pestering them, you know what I mean?
No. Louis doesn't pester. He just, gets you all soulified. That's, makes you feel good. With
I love it, Lisa.
Good vocals, man. Well, this is very cool. And then, so do you do Christmas music?
We try to put at least one or two of the songs. We try to make those Christmas, but we don't try to. We have to be politically correct and all these things.
Holiday music.
I can't I want to compliment you and tell you how beautiful you are, but I don't want to get hashtag. It's just so many things these days you got to be careful of. I think we're overly sensitive, but I think a little of it is helpful. But I am working on when you asked me that, it's just come to my mind. I'm working on my album now. I'm trying to really get my album out because I've been putting it off, and it's just really time for me to do it and make it happen. So I'm just looking forward to what tomorrow and today, as we are in the present, but tomorrow especially.
Awesome. Please keep us posted on your new album. It comes out. You please come back and visit with us. And everyone, again, Louis-Price.tv. And you know how to spell Louis now, okay? It's important.
That's right.
Get it right.
That's right.
And
Starr, you forgot to. I just wanted to say you forgot to mention where the Moss Theater. It's in Santa Monica, California, where Louis is going to be playing. And I mean, oh my gosh, it is a treat. So if you're in that area, don't miss it because it is just a brilliant concert.
Awesome.
And Starr, I think it's a possibility that we're going to perform our song again. Starr.
Oh, you didn't ask me yet, but okay. I think
know,
we should.
but I'm thinking about it
it
because we have it out, and so we probably need to do it. I just have to learn it again.
Yeah.
Really
difficult.
That was very hard for you to do.
I know. And everyone, Starr's website, Starr-Parodi.com, and that's Starr with 2 R's because she gets to have more than 1 R because, she's special. And Parodi, Parodi, just in case, Starr-Parodi.com. But Starr, what's your next big thing?
I'm doing 2 things that are coming up. Well, the last couple of months were really exciting, and there was a culmination of a bunch of stuff that I had been working on for a long time. I got to do a concert at Lincoln Center with my daughter.
So awesome.
We both had a piece played at a concert at the Alice Tully Hall called it was in a concert. The theme of the concert was called Women Warriors, Voices of Change.
Oh yeah.
And
wow.
So it was really, really exciting to be a part of that. And then I just got back from Vancouver yesterday because the Vancouver Film Festival, I went there actually, Wendy and Lisa from Prince's Brand.
Right on.
And I did 2 panels there. One was the Producers Lounge, and one was, talking about women in the industry. So I feel like I'm kind of catching my breath. I'm working on another piano album that is going to have strings this time. So it's going to be, I guess in the vein of the neoclassical vein, it's kind of neoclassical with some some gospel and very cinematic, and so that's something that I have 6 songs recorded, and I'm going to do a few more and then record with strings, and I'm super excited about that. And also starting a film, an indie film, that is exploring some of the families of the Parkland shooting.
Oh, wow.
And I've been really involved in that because my daughter's song that she did for the Lincoln Center concert was actually sung by her with a 66-piece orchestra over the 6 minutes of silence that the Parkland kids it was a multimedia over the 6 minutes that they had their memorial moment of silence. And so it's been a kind of a theme that keeps coming up, just again,
it's important.
both Louis and I, we just want to bring light and peace and healing to the world. So I know his music does, and I'm striving to do that too with mine.
I appreciate it, because you both do for sure. And I think, looking at these shootings, doves will cry over that. It's really heartbreaking when we see what's going on around the country. Especially with the youth, and when you see students standing up, for climate change, of what's happening with climate change, you see them standing up on what's happening to our environment. Like, we did a lot with when the Dakota Access Pipeline was going on, and we were interviewing people in the camps and what was going on there. I mean, I get goosebumps and just get all upset every time I think of it. But we have to. I mean, we've got to stand up, because if we don't,
absolutely,
the darkness keeps shifting in. Let's put it that way.
The darkness will try to rush, right? And you don't want the darkness to win. No way.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question,
true.
Lisa? I wanted to ask Starr a question. When you work with Wendy, how did they feel about the Prince song that you guys did?
It was funny. I played it for Lisa, and she was so gracious, and she told me she loved it, and told me some really, really nice things that she thought about it. So I was so pleased that she said that.
That's awesome.
And they're so amazing. I mean, they are also in addition to doing pop stuff, they do a lot of television and film writing, and they're just wonderful. And so anyway, it meant a lot to me that she really liked it.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, who wouldn't?
Lisa,
who wouldn't?
Lisa, I know that's right. I know that's right.
Well, thank you both for joining us on the show today. It's been a true pleasure. I know Nancy's in her geek tank, and she really wanted to say hi to you both, and she respects both of your sounds, your music, your voice, your piano playing, all your work. And so anytime, come stop on by, give us an update of what's going on. And again, everyone, When Doves Cry is out now. You can go and get it on all digital outlets. Also go to Starr-Parodi.com, Louis-Price.tv. We have to thank our awesome sponsor of today's segment, which is our partners. We love them so much. It's the National Parks Arts Foundation. Now, I'm just saying, Starr, just saying, Louis, you may want to do this. They create artist-in-residence programs for artists, painters, filmmakers, musicians, singers, songwriters. It doesn't matter what you do in the arts. You could be a poet. They put artists into a national park unit for a full month where they get to create. They have a special one in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park just for musicians and singers and songwriters. There's places like Dry Tortugas out on your own island in the Florida Keys. There's places like Gettysburg, and it's an amazing, amazing program. And we've been working with them for years. And I encourage you to go to their website, nationalparksartsfoundation.org. And of course, you can keep up with us here on Big Blend Radio. We air our segments Sunday through Friday, and you can just go to bigblendradio.com. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Starr. We're going to play The Heart of Frida. Thank you both so much.